Have you ever noticed that some afternoons you wake up from a nap feeling more tired than before you lay down? You close your eyes hoping for a little boost, but instead you open them feeling foggy, heavy, and somehow older than you did an hour ago. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many Americans over 60 tell me the same thing. They say, "I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm resting. So why do I feel worse?" Here's the surprising truth. Naps themselves are not the problem. In fact, when done right, a short nap can be one of the most powerful tools you have for protecting your energy, your heart, your brain, and even your independence as you age. The issue is how those naps are taken. Small habits, repeated day after day, quietly shape how well your body holds up over time. And some very common napping habits can slowly work against you without you ever realizing it. That's why today we're talking about 5 napping mistakes that harm seniors' health and longevity. Nothing extreme, nothing complicated. Just everyday patterns that many well-meaning people fall into. By becoming aware of them, you put yourself back in control. You're not trying to sleep less. You're learning how to rest better, in a way that actually supports your body instead of draining it. Let's begin with something that feels incredibly natural and comforting, especially after a good meal. Picture this: you've just finished lunch. Maybe it was a sandwich, some soup, or a warm home-cooked meal. You feel full, relaxed, and a little sleepy. The couch looks inviting. So you lie down right away, thinking your body deserves a rest. It feels harmless, even traditional. But for many seniors, this habit quietly causes more harm than good. When you eat, your body immediately shifts into digestion mode. Blood is redirected to your stomach and intestines. Enzymes are released. Muscles contract in a precise rhythm to move food along. All of that works best when your body is upright. Gravity is actually part of the process. When you lie down flat right after eating, especially on your back, that natural flow is disrupted. For younger people, the body can often compensate without much trouble. But after 60, things change. The small valve that keeps stomach acid where it belongs becomes weaker with age. That means acid can more easily creep upward into the esophagus. Sometimes you feel it as heartburn. Other times you don't feel it at all. That's what doctors call silent reflux. And over time it can irritate your throat, affect your breathing, and even disturb your sleep at night. There's another layer to this that doesn't get talked about enough. Digestion already demands a lot of energy and blood flow. When you lie down immediately after eating, circulation to your brain and muscles can drop just when your body is already working hard. Instead of waking refreshed, you may wake feeling sluggish, unfocused, and strangely heavy. Many people assume that feeling is just old age, but often it's simply poor timing. James, a 72-year-old retiree, shared his experience with this exact habit. Every day after lunch, he'd lie down for a nap, thinking he was doing something healthy. But he always woke up with a scratchy throat and a dull headache. By mid-afternoon, he felt mentally cloudy and unmotivated. His doctor suggested a simple change. Wait about 30 to 60 minutes after eating before resting, and stay upright. James started sitting in a comfortable chair, sometimes taking a short walk around his home before resting. The difference surprised him. His reflux eased, his afternoon clarity improved, and his naps finally felt restorative instead of draining. There's also a quiet emotional piece here. Sometimes that urge to nap right after eating isn't about physical tiredness at all. For many older adults, it's about routine, boredom, or loneliness. Eat, nap, wake up groggy, repeat. Over time, that pattern can shrink your world. It reduces movement, limits engagement, and slowly dulls motivation. Rest should restore your life, not replace it. Giving your body time to digest before napping is not about denying comfort. It's about respecting how your body works now. A gentle pause, a little movement, or simply sitting upright can make all the difference. When you finally do nap, your body is ready to actually benefit from it. Now let's talk about something that almost everyone underestimates: nap length. Many people believe that if a short nap feels good, a long one must be even better, especially if you feel tired all the time. So you lie down for an hour, maybe two, sometimes even longer. You wake up disoriented, unsure what time it is, and still exhausted. You may even feel a little down or irritable, and you don't know why. What's happening here is something called sleep inertia. When you nap too long, your brain slips into deeper stages of sleep. Waking up from those stages is hard on the nervous system. Instead of feeling refreshed, you feel heavy, slow, and disconnected. And that's just the short-term effect. Long daytime naps are increasingly being linked to more serious long-term concerns in older adults. Researchers have found strong associations between frequent long naps and cognitive decline. Memory problems, difficulty concentrating, disrupted sleep at night. The reason is simple. Your body runs on an internal clock. Long naps confuse that clock. They reduce your natural sleep pressure, making it harder to fall asleep at night and harder to stay asleep. Poor nighttime sleep doesn't just make you tired. It affects mood, balance, immune function, blood pressure, and brain health. Over time, it increases the risk of falls, depression, and loss of independence. In many cases, the nap that feels like a solution is actually part of the problem. Margaret, a 79-year-old grandmother, believed she needed long naps because she was always exhausted. Every afternoon, she slept for nearly 2 hours. Yet her memory began slipping, and her nights became restless and broken. After speaking with her doctor, she learned that her constant fatigue wasn't normal aging. She had an underlying sleep issue and low vitamin levels. Once those were addressed, she shortened her naps to about 20 minutes. Slowly, her energy stabilized, her nights improved, and her confidence returned. Here's something important to understand. Needing very long naps is often a signal, not a solution. It may point to poor sleep quality at night, breathing issues during sleep, depression, or early neurological changes. Ignoring that signal and masking it with longer naps can delay real improvement. For most seniors, the sweet spot for napping is surprisingly short. Around 20 to 30 minutes, just enough to rest the brain without falling into deep sleep. These short naps can sharpen focus, reduce stress, and even support heart health without interfering with nighttime rest. There's also the matter of time. Long naps quietly steal hours from your day. Hours that could be spent walking, talking, laughing, or simply staying mentally engaged. After 60, those moments matter more than ever. Staying active and connected is one of the strongest protections against rapid aging. If you find yourself regularly sleeping for hours during the day, it's worth asking a gentle question. What is my body really asking for? Better sleep at night? More movement? More connection? Often, shortening the nap opens the door to discovering the real answer. And as you start to notice how timing and length affect how you feel, something interesting begins to happen. You become more aware of the difference between escaping fatigue and truly restoring your energy. That awareness naturally carries forward, shaping the way you rest, move, and live throughout the day. And while we're on the topic of where you nap and how long you sleep, let's talk about something that seems harmless on the surface, but has more impact than most people think. The recliner nap. You know the one I'm talking about. That big, soft chair in the living room that practically hugs you the moment you sit down. It's cozy, it's familiar, and after lunch or during an afternoon movie, it becomes the perfect place to nod off. And honestly, for many older adults, it feels safer and easier than making the trip back to bed. So what could be the harm? Well, here's what most people don't realize. Napping in a reclined or half-seated position, especially for long stretches, changes how your body rests. Even though it feels like you're relaxing, your lungs don't open up the same way. Your diaphragm, the muscle that helps you breathe deeply, is a bit compressed. Over time, that position encourages shallow breathing during your naps. Now, if you're younger or in excellent health, your body can usually manage that. But after 60, shallow breathing during sleep can have real consequences. It limits how much oxygen reaches your brain and your heart, both of which rely on that oxygen to function well and recover. When your brain doesn't get enough oxygen during rest, you may wake up feeling mentally foggy or drained instead of alert. You might even feel more fatigued after a nap than before. Circulation is another concern. Sitting in a reclined position with your knees bent for an hour or more can slow blood flow in your legs. For people with varicose veins, limited mobility, or a history of blood clots, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's potentially dangerous. Poor circulation during long naps in a recliner increases the risk of something called deep vein thrombosis. That's when a blood clot forms in a deep vein, often in the leg. If it travels to the lungs, it can become life-threatening. It's rare, but it happens, and it's avoidable. Take William, for instance. He's 75 now, a retired factory supervisor who spent years working on his feet. After retirement, his recliner became his favorite afternoon spot. Every day around 2 p.m., he'd settle in with a blanket and drift off for a couple of hours. It felt peaceful at first, but gradually, he began waking up with a stiff neck, numb fingers, and a lingering headache. At first, he shrugged it off, but the symptoms kept coming back, so he brought it up at a checkup. His doctor found signs of spinal compression and poor posture strain, likely caused by the angle of his neck while napping in the chair. They adjusted his routine, shorter naps, better neck support, and a move to lying flat in bed, and within weeks, the discomfort eased. There's also a quiet psychological trap hidden in the recliner nap. It can slowly become an escape rather than a true rest. You might start nodding off not because you're physically tired, but because you're bored, understimulated, or emotionally checked out. It becomes part of a pattern: meals, recliner, nap, repeat. And the hours pass, but the joy and movement of the day fade. It's not just your muscles that lose strength when you stop engaging with your surroundings. It's your sense of purpose too. That doesn't mean you have to give up your recliner. It just means you have to listen to your body more closely. Ask yourself, am I truly resting, or am I retreating? A proper nap should leave you feeling refreshed and ready to rejoin the day, not stuck in a fog. Whenever possible, lie down flat on a bed or sofa where your body can fully relax, your lungs can expand, and your blood can flow freely. And if you do use a recliner, keep the nap short and make sure your head and neck are well supported. Wait, now let's explore something that sneaks up on people: the late-day nap. Picture this. It's around 5:30 or 6 in the evening. Dinner's done, the house is quiet, the light outside is fading, and the couch just looks too good to resist. You tell yourself, just a quick rest before bedtime. But then you wake up 2 hours later, wide awake. And suddenly, you can't fall asleep at night. This is more common than people admit, especially for older adults whose energy dips earlier in the evening. The problem is, napping too close to bedtime confuses your internal clock. Your body runs on something called a circadian rhythm. That rhythm helps you feel sleepy at night and alert in the morning. When you take a nap late in the day, especially after 4 p.m., your body thinks it already had its rest and delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep. Even if you do eventually fall asleep at night, that rest might be lighter, more fragmented. You wake up more often, you toss and turn, and the next morning, you feel like you barely slept. Your energy dips again, and guess what? You're back on the couch for another nap by dinner. It becomes a cycle, and it's hard to break without noticing what started it. Helen, a sweet 73-year-old grandmother, used to nap every evening around 6 p.m. after her meal. She said it helped her relax, but pretty soon she couldn't fall asleep until after midnight. And even then, her sleep felt restless. Her days lost structure, her mornings felt rushed, and she stopped doing the things she used to enjoy, like her morning walks or early calls with her grandkids. With her doctor's help, she made a simple change. She moved her nap to earlier in the day, around 1 or 2 p.m., and limited it to 25 minutes. It took a few weeks, but gradually, her bedtime settled. Her nights became more peaceful. And those morning walks? They're back. Sleep scientists often talk about something called sleep pressure. It's the natural buildup of tiredness in your body as the day goes on. If you nap too late, you release some of that pressure, and then you can't fall asleep when you need to. The result is a vicious cycle of poor sleep and poor energy. But when you nap earlier, you still keep enough of that pressure to get a good night's sleep, and your nap becomes a true recharge instead of a disruption. And there's one more layer to this. Late naps often replace something else your body or mind actually needs. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's social interaction. Maybe it's simply variety in your day. When you nap at 6 p.m., you're not just missing out on rest. You're giving up the final, precious hours of sunlight and energy when your body is designed to start winding down. That time matters more than you might think. So if you find yourself wide awake at midnight and struggling through your mornings, take a look at your nap schedule. Shifting that nap just a couple hours earlier can gently guide your body back into rhythm and give you the kind of rest that supports your memory, your mood, and your health in ways that a late nap simply can't. Every small change you make toward healthier napping isn't just about feeling better today. It's about setting your body up for deeper, more healing rest tonight and every night that follows. These adjustments may seem simple, but their impact adds up quickly. Your body pays attention even when you think it doesn't. Let's keep going. There's one more piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked. Not what time you nap, not how long you nap, but where and how you set the stage for your nap. Because your environment, your setup, plays a bigger role than most people think. A nap isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about telling your body, this is a safe, calm place to restore yourself. But what happens when your environment sends mixed signals? When the TV is humming in the background, sunlight is pouring through the window, and your chair is a little too stiff, or your head droops just a bit too far forward. What happens is, your body doesn't fully let go. Your brain stays on alert, picking up on every little sound and flicker of light. Even if you manage to fall asleep, that sleep is lighter, more fragmented. You don't sink into the deeper stages where real recovery happens. And over time, that adds up. You may be napping every day and still feeling tired, still wondering why your energy isn't bouncing back the way it used to. Frank, a 76-year-old retired high school teacher, had fallen into a common routine. Every afternoon, he'd sit in his recliner by the window, turn on the news, and drift off. It felt familiar and comfortable. But when he'd wake up, he'd feel groggy, irritable, and more stiff than before. He thought it was just aging. But a friend mentioned how much better she felt after improving her nap setup, and Frank decided to give it a try. He made a few small changes. He closed the blinds to block out harsh light. He turned off the TV and played soft instrumental music instead. He placed a light blanket over himself and used a small neck pillow to support his head and spine. And just like that, his naps transformed. They were shorter, lighter, and more refreshing. For the first time in years, he said he felt genuinely restored after resting, not just less tired, but truly recharged. That's the power of the environment you nap in. Light is one of the biggest influencers of your body's internal clock. Even if your eyes are closed, light that seeps through your eyelids, especially blue light from screens, tells your brain to stay alert. It interferes with melatonin, the hormone that helps you relax. So while you might think you're resting, your body is still on standby. Noise is another silent saboteur. You may think you're used to sleeping with background noise, a TV show, the sound of traffic, even a ticking clock. But your brain is always listening, especially as you age. Research shows that even soft, familiar sounds can prevent you from entering the deeper stages of sleep. And it's during those stages that your brain clears out waste, consolidates memory, and regulates mood. The position you nap in matters too. Curled up on the couch without neck support, slouched in a chair that bends your spine, these postures don't allow your body to fully relax. Worse, they can restrict breathing and blood flow, especially for those dealing with arthritis, back problems, or reduced lung capacity. What starts as a quick doze can leave you with a stiff neck, aching joints, or shortness of breath. So what's the fix? It doesn't require a fancy nap pod or a total overhaul. Often, it's just about creating a space that tells your brain, this is where we rest. That might mean lying down flat in bed for 20 minutes in the early afternoon, drawing the curtains to block out bright light, and making sure your body is supported with a small pillow under your knees or neck. Maybe it means using a sleep mask, playing soft nature sounds, or simply making sure the room is quiet and comfortable. It also means giving yourself permission to value your nap as something important, not something to squeeze into the background while the TV runs or while sitting halfway upright in yesterday's clothes. Quality rest deserves your care. Your body has worked hard for decades. A good nap is not just about rest. It's about healing, recovery, and the ability to stay engaged with the life you love. When you start adjusting your nap habits, the timing, the length, the posture, the setting, you may be surprised how much changes. You wake up sharper, calmer, and more motivated. You have more energy for the things that matter. Walking, cooking, laughing with your grandkids, talking with friends, or just enjoying the sunset. That small window of rest becomes a springboard for the rest of your day. And here's something else that surprises people. It's not just your physical health that improves. Your mood lifts. Your confidence grows. You feel more in control. Because you're not just drifting through routines, you're making choices that support your energy and your independence. You're telling your body, I care enough to do this right. And your body responds. Let's pause here for just a moment. Think about how often naps are dismissed. It's just a nap, people say. But when you're over 60, nothing is just a nap anymore. Everything your body does, especially how it rests, carries weight. Poor napping habits can chip away at your strength, your memory, your heart health, and even your sense of well-being. But the right habits, they build you up, quietly, consistently, powerfully. You don't need to become a sleep expert. You don't need perfect conditions or strict rules. What you need is awareness, the kind that turns autopilot into intention. That's how transformation starts. Not with massive overhauls, but with small, meaningful shifts. Waiting a little longer before lying down. Choosing to nap earlier in the day. Creating a peaceful environment. Limiting your nap to 20 to 30 minutes. Supporting your neck. Turning off the distractions. These aren't hard things to do. But they are easy to forget until you start noticing the difference. And once you feel the change, it becomes hard to go back. Because suddenly, you're not just napping. You're renewing. You're rebuilding. You're protecting the years you have ahead and making the most of the ones you have now. Before we wrap up, let me say this. Aging isn't about decline. It's about refinement. You're smarter, more resilient, and more aware than ever. And with just a few changes to how you nap, you can support that strength and continue doing the things you love, with clarity, vitality, and peace of mind. If anything in this video has resonated with you, I want to invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what habit you're going to change, or what nap trick already works for you. Your story might be the exact encouragement someone else needs today. And if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it, subscribe to the Strong Elderly Life channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to invest in your well-being. Every view, every comment, every thumbs up helps us keep creating content that supports your health, your wisdom, and your journey. Here's to living your best life at any age, and to naps that actually help you do it. Stay strong, stay rested, and I'll see you in the next video.